Hey guys, welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. We went back, took a break, went more insane, and... Did I just say we went back?
Yes.
Cool! So yeah, as you can tell, it's going swimmingly. Our brains are just
Take
awesome.
another shot.
Oh yeah, it's not take a shot if I burn my tongue, because I'm not drinking tea. It's just take a shot if I flub everything. And as soon as you said that, I flubbed up the last intro. So thanks. Um, bitch. So
I am
we
here for the chaos.
we pulled Luke at me out of court, and I unintentionally made Payne sound like Milton. And he's going to set the courthouse on fire.
Yes.
But before he does that, we need to finish this trial. So
Then you can set it on fire.
yeah, let's go.
And then have no salt on the Mai Tais.
Is it bad that I actually kind of want that canonical ending for him now? Him and his wife.
Just be sitting on a beach just sipping some Mai Tais.
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
Yeah, same. God damn it. We left because mysterious spots appeared on both of our glasses. I already have mysterious spots on my glass. I have just a whole ass smear.
Mine are nice and clean.
I hate everything. These glasses smear so easy and I don't know why. My sis?
I told you. I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice.
So then she's still alive inside your heart.
Nicky boy. Oh, Miss Delight. Is it true that the detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definitive proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night?
Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atney want to kill Kane Bullard?
Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom.
That means you don't know and you're gonna figure it out.
I need to find some solid proof.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Remember what I said about the alive in your heart thing, Nick?
Astral projecting.
Alive in your heart. I can see spirits. I would have seen her.
It's gonna happen sooner rather than later.
That's actually how they show that Maya is a spirit medium in the stage plays. She does not channel anybody because that's awkward to do with a live action actress. So they have Maya see and talk to spirits instead. It's actually very cool because a spirit medium would be able to see and talk to spirits anyway. So it's a cool idea of exploring like that facet of Maya's powers. Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atme, please take the stand. Oh, I hope I don't knock my drink over with all the foiling I'm gonna do. Well, well, how do you do, Sir Lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly.
I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mask to Mask.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid even the great Luke Atme has no idea what you mean. Of course, I could have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock, or of course I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. Take another goddamn shot. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Mask to Mask. Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example.
So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Mask to Mask.
He gets more and more flamboyant the more I voice him. Of course. Very well then, look at me. Let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at the time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks. All right, Mr. Adme. The night of the murder. Speak.
How many times do you think the judge has called the Blue Badger on a witness?
Would you really like to know that, Mr. Wright?
I'm not Mr. Wright, but yes, I would.
You sounded like your Nick voice.
No.
Oh, good. I love it. Smooth and smug. Yay! That's what I was going for, was suave. Like his fucking baby-making theme song, because god damn. Fuck. So good. I recently, I'm not going to date this, but whatever, I put the VOD date up anyway. I watched the Ace Attorney 20th anniversary concert orchestra, and holy shit, they actually did Godot's theme. Hearing it performed by like a live orchestra with a solo sax player that they brought in like just completely to play that the main tune. Holy shit, I had chills. That is like, it's incredible. Jesus H. Christ. We're all ears. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. It's one of the only times I'll actually insist that something's better than the MIDI. I was stealing the urn as Master Mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Master Mask was the same time as the murder. It seems the main point of discussion would be this photo of the crime scene. Okay, so my brain had connected A to D last time when I was thinking about the photograph. Of course. Of course.
Everything else up until now, it was all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well.
Even the great Master Mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me. I have a verdict to receive.
Unfortunately, Mr. Atme, we still have to do your cross-examination.
A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool. Nick starts getting Francisca flashbacks.
You're not Francisca von Karma. Shut up.
Who is that?
Someone who would kick your ass.
Ha! I would love to see them try. Boom, boom, boom! On the courtroom doors.
And like an angel of death descends Francisca von Karma.
I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick.
The only thing he's full of is his alibi. So this photograph is the proof, correct?
I thought she was going to say his ass. Indeed it is.
And the man in this photo is certainly wearing a mask.
That is why I'm called Mask to Mask.
But conveniently, that also meant that that there was no way to tell who it really was.
What do you mean?
Objection!
Huh. Are you saying that this is not, in fact, Luke Adme? That it could be an accomplice dressed as a mask to mask to create an alibi?
Yeah, I mean, look at the nose.
Excuse me? That is an interesting idea, Sir Prosecutor. He's just casually flipping Nick the bird with the ring on it. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice?
No. If Luke Atme was at KB Security during the murder, then the Master Mask in this picture has to be fake.
Then there really was an accomplice.
But right now, I have no idea who it was.
I don't have any idea right now either.
Baseless objections are just what this guy wants. There's gotta be another way, and I'm going to find it. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point.
That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
You sent the calling card to Lord Lee Taylor 10 days before the heist. That means that you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right?
Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this?
Hmm?
Detective Atme was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lord Lee Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona.
You know, that's true. It is kind of odd. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here. Is that correct?
Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime.
The very thing that proves you committed the crime. When you think about it, it's really odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose.
Objection!
He was simply caught by the very camera that he had set up. We all have days like that. Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing. A sad, blue melody. Rain on your wedding day.
It's not irony. It looks like I'd better gather more information for now. He's truly the killer. There's gotta be something phony in that photo. About the camera that took the photograph.
Oh, come now, it's all too clear what you're thinking.
Huh?
You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lord Lee Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lord Lee Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered. I see.
Looks like I better find something else that could be suspicious.
So, this alibi is false.
It has to be. Or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security.
But I'm not really spotting anything unusual besides that whole, detective persona thing.
There are two possibilities. Either the master mask in this photo is fake, or the photo itself is. If I remember correctly,
We
this
have
is
to
one of those.
repress, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Nick
one of
even
those.
said, we don't have enough information yet.
Yeah.
This photograph is a proof.
I don't think it's a statement. Because we still haven't proved he didn't have an accomplice. Or who it could be.
Oh yeah, this is the one we need to press.
No, I don't think it is.
No? We gathered information from everything else. This is the one where
But
Nick
we can't name an accomplice because there's been no proof of an accomplice.
Because there isn't an accomplice.
I mean, go for it.
No, I know you went through this again recently. More recently than I did. I'm trying to fucking remember. So I'll give it up. But I think I'm jumping to point D again. Yeah, right now I have no idea who it was. Okay. Adrian. 20 days ago, calling card. Let's see. Nope, that's the same. Ah, this is new, right?
Yes.
Okay. Surely even you understand by now. Lord Lieutenant provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bullard. Unless I had an accomplice.
Program. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse, and the picture picture that supposedly captured it. It's gotta be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? You bet there is.
It's the box. It's not the stamp, it's the box. Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah, because the box has the paint on the bottom.
It's not the box either. What would be covering the paint?
Oh, right, the statue.
Yeah.
Dur. I even, as soon as you said it's not the box either, I was like, wait a minute. I made a mental note last time that, oh, right, it's the statue of Ami Faye. Oh my god. Are you implying that this picture is a fake?
You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We looked around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place. And there's something in that photo that doesn't match my memory of that night.
Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? Boop.
A big splotch of paint.
Take that!
The funny part is right here.
Why, this is a blood stain. Ah, blood! Now this case is getting interesting.
Not exactly. The stain is actually pink paint.
Oh, just paint. And peach colored at that.
From blood to peaches. The judge sure loves to go on his wild tangents.
Yahtzee.
We're playing Yahtzee now?
Well, I beat you at Connect 4.
Damn it. I didn't even know we were playing. But anyway, the problem with this photograph is not the paint.
I love that the judge is just kind of gone senile. Just in random spots. And Nick's just like, fuck.
Just rolling with it.
Yeah, Nick's just like, fuck.
The problem is, when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse...
Chat. Damn, I could have used my wild reverse card. I just want you all to know, Katie and I brought in 2022 with a friend of ours with a 90-minute game of Uno.
Yeah, we did.
It was a 90-minute game.
It turns out that something should have been there is nowhere to be seen. He's doing his gross sweating thing, he knows.
Well, Mr. Wright, most people who are nervous sweat. You do it, you perspirate quite frequently.
Yeah, but I don't have it dripping off the tip of my nose.
No, it's just all off of your face. I mean, he's right, Nick.
Gross looking like snot. Anyway.
Uh-huh. What is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains? Mommy face, golden statue. Take that!
The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following.
Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would have been the perfect size to cover up this paint stain. That's why I put it where you first saw it.
I, myself, was there that night that the theft took place, and saw the statue in that spot. If the picture was truly taken on that night, then the statue should have been there.
Objection!
But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally?
Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy.
Are you calling me fat?
No, I'm talking about it's just overall, just big.
Okay, good. The badger was about to come out. I've been working on slimming my physique.
Oh, I'm just talking about just your stature.
Are you calling me fat?
No, Your Honor, I'm not calling you fat. I'm just saying that you're broad-chested and wide shoulders. There's nothing anyone can do about that.
We all have broad chests and wide shoulders. It's how we're drawn.
It's just a fact of life, Your Honor. We're all like this. We're all in this together. I'm saying that the statue is just bigger than all of us.
Oh, man. We have no excuse. Old Bag isn't even in this game.
It's Luke at me. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance.
Also, we did get the achievement Smells Like Old Bag.
Yes, we did.
Her things are in this, this case. Huh. In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick?
Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it?
Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you're prepared with your answer. Now then, who is the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime?
Luke at me.
Yeah, he's the only one who could have. Because Ron was knocked out at KB Security.
The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke at me.
Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions?
It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night.
That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue?
The reason for moving the golden statue, here's where the battle really begins.
Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue?
The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me, you pretended to be mask to mask. To create an alibi by showing that you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like the cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you had to move the statue.
A single fatal flaw? Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does this lie exist?
In the timestamp.
Take that! He made the software.
Naturally, the lie is in this photo is the timestamp.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atme went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time.
But what does that have to do with the statue being moved?
Remember, if you will, Your Honor. When was this statue placed beside the warehouse door?
Well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime. And it was placed there in order to cover up the paint.
Exactly. Luke Atme had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so, in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place.
What the?
Of course, the statue hadn't been brought down to the basement warehouse yet.
Ah.
So, on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. What type of analogy is that? Jesus. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak.
Nick, isn't Prosecutor Godot the one with the weird metaphors?
I just said the first thing that came to my mind.
You mean like getting toothpaste stuck in the cupboards on top of the refrigerator when there's no way to climb on top of the refrigerator?
Yes.
We're getting
Just
really
like
meta,
that.
Nick. Do you ever think about that?
Look, my grandpa said it once. He's not native English speaker.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. You have to tell me
Anyway.
about that sometime.
Why? Because something that was supposed to be there, or that something that wasn't supposed to be there, had been brought down in place where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atme had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match with the way he had been in his photo.
Ah! Order, order. Mr. Atme, is that true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime.
It's true that the camera had been set up by Lordly Taylor's staff. However, the program used to manage the data was yours.
You still have a Nokia? Really, Nick?
That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data.
Ah! Really, Nick? Upgrade to a smartphone or something already. That's impressive.
I know random stuff, I'm sorry.
Order, order. Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Godot, I warned you about making me wait. Now put the coffee down. my 11th cup. I've promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial. Which means I'm still good to the last drop. However, the defense has a very good point. A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points. I think he's got his points mixed up with his other points. So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied.
Which is?
That it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true.
No way! Don't fall for that, Your Honor!
Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as Master Damask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it. Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box and Zvari! It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. That's pretty much all stuff we've heard before, isn't it?
Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in this nugget of new information he gave.
Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time? Zvari. Very well then, whatever the hell that means. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Did the judge just swear?
Yeah, he did. It was great.
Alright.
Should do it more.
Ian brought up the same point. Except he brought up the point that Godot probably has a steel bladder. Or like an adamantium bladder, which he probably does.
Insert spoiler comment that I'm not going to make.
Put it in the wah.
Ah, hang on. You were asked to guard the urn by Miss Adrian Andrews, isn't that right?
Indeed. It seems that they'd heard of my sparkling reputation.
I see Miss Andrews is still attracted to weirdos. You better watch out too, Maya.
What? What? Is he gonna get kidnapped again by this clown?
No! Never mind, never mind.
Oh!
I'll go sit myself in the corner now.
Oh, that spoiler comment. You're the worst.
Goodbye. Yes, I am.
Oh. That's what I think.
I don't care. I got someone to laugh.
Oh. I was thinking something along the same lines, and I was like, don't. Oh.
This box.
Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn. And she wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me.
Oh. Interesting new tidbit. So, you're sure that you had never seen the urn before?
Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, I, Luke Atme, let no information slip whatsoever. I fucked up again, take another fucking shot. However, I, Luke Atme, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers.
You mean this calling card?
That's right. That is, without a doubt, my calling card. I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all.
Of course, because Atme knew about the emblem. Making this card authentic would have been child's play for him. Then no one entered the basement warehouse.
Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse.
And this is the photo that proves that, huh?
Indeed. To be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much. Hey, Nick, if this photo is a fake, Detective Atney might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken.
That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw that urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to take a good hard look at the court records.
Not a lot to go on, is there?
That detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination.
Right.
That he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime.
Alright then. How do we do that?
There's only one thing that Atney stated very clearly. That he had never seen the urn before he stole it.
We need to prove that he's lying. Hey, Nick, give me the court record for a sec.
Alright, here you go.
Yeah, let me see your briefcase. There was something that's been bugging me for a little while. No, not that. God, there's a note about Mr. Edgeworth in here, and normally I would give
There's
more of a
not.
crap. And there totally is though,
Ugh.
Nick. Let's see. Okay. Aha! Right here. Nick, right here, right here. The calling card.
Yeah.
Well, read it closer.
The speckled urn.
Yeah. How would he know it was speckled?
Oh, we got this son of a bitch now.
Okay, so where do you present it?
It's right here.
He was actually unable to see the
Or
urn.
here. Yep.
I like to think that Maya's the one that got that, because it's her fucking urn.
Yeah. Mr. Atme, if you really are mask to mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct?
But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card?
Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Mask to Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to the pink splotches on the sacred urn.
Yes, that is true, but so what?
Truth be told, there's no way that Master Mask could have known about this pattern.
What do you mean?
This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains.
Paint stains?
And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lord Lee Taylor.
I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite.
The day their sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say, error-prone human. And that is when the pink paint got on the urn.
You can't be serious.
And yet the calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atme had seen the urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water.
Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself?
All right, that did it. He's broken.
Hey, Nick, high five.
Yeah.
Nick, I think it's still a little early for a victory pose, though. Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
Oh, Maya.
Well, I got excited.
Huh?
Him.
Damn it.
Huh. It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask to Mask. And now, we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle? That's a good point.
No way. Don't fall for that too, Your Honor.
You say that Luke Atme was the one who killed Kane Bullard? Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that? An excellent point.
Hmm?
Motive, Mr. Wright. Motive! Might you, my merry murderous, motive manifest? Nick, he's getting his second wind. If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Ron DeLite, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron DeLite. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed, according to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were. I'd be honored to, Sir Oldtimer.
They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the bailiffs that's standing at the end of the fucking bench and sliding Godot's coffees. I, Luke Atme, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Mask to Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron DeLite. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. DeLite for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Mask to Mask. That is why Mr. DeLite saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant. And this is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter.
What?
Blackmail letter updated in the court record. Found in Rhonda Light's room, written by Bullard. Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination.
And who in the world is going to prove that?
I will.
Huh?
After doing a thorough background check of Detective Atme and Kane Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. Nope. That was blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight.
Mistook?
That's right. Mistook. From the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take in error.
That wasn't what I meant.
Just who did the victim mistake Master Mask to be? Why, the answer is obvious. Rhonda Light, of course.
Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off this guy's face. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Mask to Mask?
Don't you already know that? Zvadi! Take a look at this newspaper. Oh ho! That's the infamous Tear of Emanon, a magnificent jewel. That photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely, the defendant. The defendant? The victim clearly misread this article and... Zvadi! He got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Mask to Mask. How dare you? Ron is adorable. Look at his face.
He doesn't have a long nose and a butt chin. I mean...
You alright there, Nick?
I'm fine. I'm ready to go.
You're lucky the judge didn't hear you.
I know.
I see. That was an unusually reasonable deduction.
You mean this blackmail letter right here?
It says, bring $50,000.
And the handwriting is, without a doubt, the victim's?
There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere.
An addressee?
This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment. And Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there's no addressee is irrelevant.
I wonder.
What's up, Nick?
I just had a thought. What if the blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight?
Whoa! Do you have any evidence of that?
For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there is something not quite right about this blackmail letter.
Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied?
What do you mean by that?
Oh my, I was certain you were already aware. Zvadi! KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was a security team chief, I stole data from the company. King Bullard had yet to forgive young Mr. Delight. Which is why he sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing he was the thief. Here's a file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail. However, isn't this a bit odd? Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullard the money, even though he wasn't actually Master Mask? On that point, there was an unfortunate bit of chance.
Do you really think that that story is going to hold up?
That assertion is not merely my own, I'm afraid.
What do you mean?
I have here a memo from Ron Delight's wife, Desiree Delight. Ronnie thinks he's Master Mask. Don't you feel sorry for him? Please don't think too badly of him. Huh. Well, Mr. Trite.
Ugh. Was he just trying to act like Miss Delight just now?
No.
It was a very bad impression.
I thought he was actually pretty convincing at being suave.
Ugh.
Just at being suave! You can't deny he's got style.
Anyway.
You're just bitter that he can wear a vest better than you can.
What? Hmm? I don't even wear vests. I've never worn a vest a day in my life.
Yeah, that's why he can wear one better than you.
Oh, so if I wore one and I actually wore it very well, would you take it back? While you ponder that, let's just get on with the case.
It depends on if Mr. Edgeworth likes it or not.
Case. Back to the case.
Uh-huh. That's what I thought.
Now that's just your imagination talking.
Come now, Sir Lawyer. I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. It's drugs. This is a deduction.
How many of them are you on?
You have no idea.
I'm not surprised.
The only one he isn't on is opium.
Jesus Christ.
And cocaine, which, like, two of Holmes's favorite drugs. Oh, man. This is a deduction, the result of carefully applied reasoning. Sherlock Holmes, meanwhile, is actually rolling in his grave. Can we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves? It's a long story, and better saved for another time.
Uh-huh.
Very well, another time.
The so-called long stories aren't usually all that long. At least not in my experience.
I don't know, Nick. We let you go on about your class trial as a kid, and you can go on for, like, ever. And that's actually a short story.
Maya, I'm going to stuff a sock in your mouth just to keep you quiet for like 5 minutes.
That's better than, you know, trying to feed me a cashew like I'm a fucking pet bird.
You want a cashew?
No!
I got peanuts in here too.
Oh my god! Nick!
I think there are walnuts too.
It's not enough for my 10 stomachs.
I don't know, walnuts are pretty filling.
Nick, didn't the judge tell you to stop eating?
Shit, don't say anything.
Well, he's gonna notice you!
Anyway, we're getting back to the case, again.
Yeah, just shove those notes in your mouth and let's get on with it.
When you say it like that, no, I'm not going to. I'm putting them back in my briefcase.
I knew that would work.
His Nick is just chewing on a peanut because I am chewing on a peanut.
I'm fucking dead. I don't care if everyone else in the world hates this playthrough. I love this stupid shit. Oh my god. Jesus H. Christ. So you're gonna try to connect Detective Atme to Mr. Bullard, right?
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either.
In that case, you'll have to talk about the blackmail.
That's true. Wasn't that blackmail letter really intended for... Or was that blackmail letter really intended for Ron?
Since we don't have enough information, you should see if you could press him for more testimony?
Maybe we'll be able to shake some contradictions loose that way.
Do we need to press him again?
Nope.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But this is where we got the hit of extra information to be like, hey,
Right.
this is the statement.
Yeah, it was this one. It's
Yep.
also weird that he knows... Well, I mean, I don't remember if this is actually a point or not, so I'm not going to say anything, because it's something...
No, he
could've
wouldn't
found.
know about this. There's no way he would have known about this because this didn't come out until today's trial.
The data breach. I mean, but we... yeah. Yeah, it was a secret that Ron stole the information, too.
Yep, none of them knew it. They were all surprised.
Yeah, I was going to say he could have dug it up on his own, because, I mean, he is actually smart, but... So we present
The blackmail letter.
the blackmail letter.
Or the news clipping, I think. Either one. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme?
Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's all right.
When you say that this letter was addressed to Rhonda Light, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction.
Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that.
You're one to talk.
At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed. Time to man up, Mr. Wright. And stop eating peanuts.
Dang it!
Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter after you clean your damn hands.
There's nothing on them. They're unsalted.
Clean your hands,
Okay,
or
okay.
the badger will come for you. Hello, cat. Hey, baby.
Right here is this newspaper clipping. Damn. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel.
What about it?
The problem is this jewel's color.
Color. I'm not much for discussing color myself.
According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day.
Red?
Which means... the red diamond described in this blackmail letter is not the Tear of Emanon and that Mass to Mass stole after all.
Objection!
And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you're trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That's what you're trying to say, right, Trite? Is that what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright? Well, that is what you're trying to say, right, Nick?
Yes. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. Me.
What?
I mean, look at me.
Me, Phoenix Wright.
The fact that it lingered there for even a second, I had to do it. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme.
In the library with a candlestick. Fish said me at the exact literal time Katie did.
Perfect.
That's amazing. Oh, man. That's fucking amazing. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim?
You have been personally involved in every single mass-to-mass case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen. And received a jewel. As your reward.
A jewel.
Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you.
Order in the court. Order, I say. Oh. It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite.
Uh-oh. I don't like the way you said that.
Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke at me. Are you for real?
Yes, I am.
Nick, come on, stand up to him. Because he's got a better vest.
Maya, get off the vest thing.
No, it looks awesome. Fine, the tie. He's got a nice tie. Stands out nicely against the teal.
I like my tie.
Your tie is nice. Sis gave it to you. She had an eye for fashion. She would have liked this guy's look. Just aesthetically. Nick?
Wait for him to talk. I'm pouting.
Gito's over there like, are you fucking done?
Nick's just waiting. Looking a little sad.
Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world. Yes, it certainly does. Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Acme's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was that identity?
Acme killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret?
Possibly a bioterrorist because he had a fucking virus in his house? The fact that he works for Umbrella Corps? What baby? This is what it all comes down to, Nick.
The identity that Luke Acme wanted so desperately kept secret was the identity that he was a blackmailer. Luke Acme was a blackmailer.
Objection!
Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Acme. Are you saying that Acme was blackmailing someone else on top of that? Ugh, you have to admit, that does sound a little odd.
It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Acme. But Ron DeLight was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So, did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident?
Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Ron DeLight was actually masked in mask.
That is what we are claiming.
You're claiming he's guilty of being the criminal that you just acquitted him of being yesterday.
Yes.
Somewhere,
Double jeopardy, Your Honor.
Somewhere in Europe, Miles Edgeworth just put his head in his hands.
Double jeopardy, Your Honor. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his target for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atme.
Shh! Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear.
What is?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless, with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong?
How did you...
You say that I, Luke Atme, was blackmailing Ron Delight. In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Master Mask.
Well, yes.
Ron Delight started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime. Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot and bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atme know that Ron Delight was Mask to Mask? Isn't that
They
the
saw him in the
brooch?
newspaper.
Oh,
No,
it's
the
the
newspaper
newspaper?
thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Because the picture shows both of them together.
Yeah. I was like, it's either the brooch if you're being tricky, or it's a newspaper clipping if we're just gonna shove that in everyone's faces again.
I think I see it.
See what?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into a lot of mischief trying to be the center of attention.
What do you mean?
This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Ron Delight in his guard uniform. It seems that Mask to Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He took off his outfit and hid it in the bucket.
Isn't that a trash can, Nick?
Bucket. The bucket bucket.
I miss the fucking bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true.
Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective.
Hey!
That's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under the mask, Mask to Mask was Ron Delight.
What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Mask to Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. I can't believe it. He was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud! Trying to pass himself off as an ace detective. We were all like 5 different people. We just sound the same.
I was going to jump in, but you just like already was.
Sorry.
You were just going, and I was just like, you know what? She's got it.
I was going. Why? How dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective and also Mask to Mask. Why can't you understand that?
And a pathological liar. I'm afraid you're neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That's your true identity.
Why, you? How dare you imply that someone as smart as I could have caused us no lead ups? Why not try doing something yourself with those big mouths of yours? You're full of fools, I say! None of you compare to my genius. You're all just jealous! So go on, desecrate me, commemorate me, desecrate it, blackmail, murder, threats, I can do it, all of it! It's enough to make one laugh. I got nearly all of that.
God damn, that's impressive.
I'm about to pass out. Whew. My old bag skills were put to good use.
Take a breath.
Mm-hmm. Taking a drink of Coke Zero Starlight. It's fucking
The stream
delicious.
is not sponsored.
Stream is not sponsored.
But go get it.
Yeah, but seriously, go get Coke Zero Starlight because it's.
I got it on a whim and it's delicious.
Yeah, I normally don't drink Coke Zero. Let me put it that way. This tastes so fucking good. I also don't like flavored sodas that much. So, this is so fucking good. Starlight is the best shit, though. Yeah! Chat knows where it's at. Also, thank you. I'm very proud of myself for getting most of that. Also, I hope I sounded suitably insane as Luke freaking the fuck out. Cotton candy. It also has mint. What, baby? What? Courthouse kitty? Did that meow come through or not?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. When I read chat saying Luke literally did pass out here, which means you did it right, I thought of Luke Triton. Professor, it was me! I'm Master Mask. Oh, I blame the fact that old bags things are in this case.
Whenever she's even mentioned, we just lose it.
We really do. Oh, she really did actually. Like, reading her lines as fast as I could actually really did help with that breakdown, though. Whew. It would seem we finally arrived at the real answer. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme. Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atme.
Objection!
The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge.
That's not how this works.
You don't get much more in your face than that. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite.
What do you...
It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atme was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder.
That's right. That's why he's the one who killed Mr. Bolt.
But there's still one thing you have yet to prove. What's that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB Security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered.
No way!
Order! Order in the court! Well, Mr. Wright?
This is the final round. I gotta prove that Atme was at Mr. Bullard's office on that night.
But can you really prove that? That's long enough. Mr. Trite, I want to hear your answer.
That night, Luke Atme was at KB Security, and the defense can't prove it.
Nick, you're sure?
I can't yet. I can't prove it.
Just as I thought.
But
if we hear more of Detective Adamy's testimony.
Objection!
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite.
What do you mean?
I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean.
Your Honor. Please do something. What?
Have you forgotten? Luke Atme is here after we interrupted his own trial. And you failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as mask to mask.
No!
Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as mask to mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delight will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness.
I cannot believe this. At this rate, Ron is...
Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and...
By then, it'll be too late.
Huh? Why? Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law. Double jeopardy? Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts. And it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Mr. Atme will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as mask to mask, which means he will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned. No way! The fact that you aren't able to prove Mr. Atme's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer. Oh, the sprite you hate the most.
Yay! Now there's nothing I can do to possibly... Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atme, will go free.
You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. And as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? Nick, come on. Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atme.
Objection!
I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result.
How did you...
Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer who smiles no matter how bad it gets.
That voice. No way.
Long time no see, Phoenix.
That voice.
Mia! This is the true power of the Karine channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me. But right now, she's my mentor, Mia Fey.
Now, let's do this.
But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine.
Not yet. The testimony's not over yet.
What do you mean?
Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today.
Yes, that's true, but...
Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, the witness made a number of remarks.
Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Rhonda Light will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Yes, but those comments appear to have no importance whatsoever.
Very well. Then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that all right with you, prosecutor?
Is something the matter? Mr. Godot? Nothing. Oh, Sir Lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at... Let's hear it. Huh? It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Mr. Godot, what are you... Very well then, Mr. Luke Atme, I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks.
The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer.
So please, give us one last bit of testimony.
Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance.
Yes, Chief.
Indeed, it is true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Light. And thanks to the key card and wallet, it was abundantly clear he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter? The victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zvari! Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy.
This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well.
The witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course. But how did you know about the emergency buzzer? The police investigation documents went directly through me. And I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, Sir Lawyer and Miss Sholmes. Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, Sir Lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
We cannot postpone Luke Atme's trial any longer. This is your last chance.
Hang on a sec. Just one chance?
It seems that the party's about to begin.
Well, Phoenix,
There isn't any evidence that contradicts that testimony.
so it would seem.
What do you mean, so it would seem?
Listen, Phoenix, pointing out the contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out the case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it.
Cup number 17. The last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial.
I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. And I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it.
Remember, you only get one chance.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination. Okay, we're gonna do something. Shut up. Alright. We're gonna save. Alright.
I think I remember what it is, but do you?
I think it's this one. How would he know that Ron is wearing the mask-to-mask outfit?
Correct, because that came out in this trial.
Yep.
And he wasn't here.
Yeah, exactly. He only could have known that Ron was wearing the mask-to-mask outfit if he had actually been there.
Yep.
Which is actually...
Mr.
Oh, sorry. This is actually super fucking clever. It's like, to break the case, you don't present any evidence. You just have to press. It's the first time the games have done that. To win the case.
Yeah, it is.
It's just super clever. And they make it very clear to you. Unlike in JFA, where it's like, oh, if you press on, most shit, and then it conditioned a lot of people to be afraid to press in further games. But they're just like, this is a one-time thing because of X, Y, Z. That's how you set up... sorry, just to get on a gaming technical standpoint for a second. That's how you set up that this is like a temporary case basis instead of a, overall thing. That's how you do it. Trials and Tribulations got it right. Go ahead.
Can I go back to reading?
I said go ahead. I said go ahead.
Mr. Atme, about that last remark.
Objection!
You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement.
I'm afraid you're the one who doesn't get it, Mr. Gatto.
What?
Mr. Atme, it seems that you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder.
How can you say that?
Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atme? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. Is that correct?
Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof.
More like your deductions prove that you're a fool.
Oh, snap. I'm sorry, whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty.
When exactly did you learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as mask-to-mask when he went to the scene of the crime?
That was, it was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare. Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now.
That's right. The defendant had yet to tell anyone else that this fact before this morning. Therefore, only one person who should know the information, or therefore the only person who should know that this information are those who were watching this trial. I don't know why that got really trippy for me.
It's okay, it happens.
Do you understand now, Detective Atme? There is no way you should have known about that. You were in the next courtroom, being tried as mask to mask. So then, enlighten us. Just how did you know about this piece of information?
Well... Come on, this detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand.
And it's those chances that that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Atme to have found that out.
Only one way, you say?
Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony.
When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there.
For a second, my client witnessed the real killer.
Objection!
But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker. So there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atme.
It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head.
Just what are you implying?
Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen seen Ron Delight.
Impossible.
Detective Atme, you saw Mask to Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. The only way you would have known about that Ron was that was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing.
Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. And that's the same line you gave yesterday. Oh no, he turned into Spamton. Oh god.
Big shot.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I love that song so much. It gets stuck in my head at the worst times.
But I think there is a little more meaning behind it this time.
Why do I always get the people that cackle like loons? I realize that. I sign up for people that cackle like loons. Like, it's not that why do I get these people? It's Katie and I talk about it, and I don't even think about the crazy laughter part. I just realized that. Because I'm thinking of another character in a future game who has a sprite that kind of signifies crazy laughing, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I knew you would get it. I knew it would pop in your head, because it's a cool sprite.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is.
It's creepy. What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atme tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Mask to Mask in order to escape his true crime.
And to that end, he came up with this plan. To use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi.
At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth. Excuse me? I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer. Don't ignore me! Oh, I didn't realize you were there.
Why wouldn't he be?
About the verdict. I know, you never committed any murder. That's right, I'm so glad you understand that. But, I really am best in mask! Huh? So, thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy? Now that you mention it, and I stated this fact earlier...
And I did too.
I've been careless.
Careless. Well, actually, I mean, Ron can't be tried again as Master Mask.
I was gonna say, that actually is how double jeopardy works.
Yeah.
Miles screams in the distance because Nick actually got this shit done and let a thief go. Yeah, this is absolutely how double jeopardy works. They actually did do their homework on that.
Yep.
Whenever they bring up legal... I will say Ace Attorney doesn't throw, like, legal jargon that we know, like, as much, like, our legal system around as much, but when they do their homework on it. Like,
Yeah.
When they had Franzi have Adrian plead the fifth, they did all their homework as to, like, how it could have fucked up her case and everything, which is why Miles had to say what he did in the Youngguard case, blah blah. So
Yeah, and in a future game, there is a character that starts throwing around absolutely, just to the T, legal jargon to the T.
Oh, you mean one of the big bads that everyone fucking hates because it takes like 2 hours to bring him down? Because he uses the term properly?
Yes, and I was thinking of another character as well.
Oh shit, okay. The big bad that like everyone hates and I think is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, fuck that! And I'm like, actually, this is how it works, so it's pretty cool.
What do you think, Mia? As the defense says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. Plus, you already claimed that earlier. A defendant can never be tried twice for the same for a crime in which he was once found innocent.
Yeah, that's why O.J. Simpson got away with murder and then wrote a book about it.
Yep. Then Master Mask is really innocent. It would seem so, for now. For now.
Now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty. I need a nap. Confetto!
Drink.
Confetto. Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, this isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still have Master Mask after all.
You did it, Phoenix.
Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days.
Oh?
I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days.
You mean about becoming the master of the crying channeling school?
Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother.
Misty Faye, right?
Watch over her, will you, Phoenix?
Of course.
Well then, see you around.
Mia.
Ah, Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say.
Congratulations, Mr. Delight.
Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all this has happened. Come on, just be happy already.
Maya.
You've been cleared of the murder charges and got off as mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming mask to mask. I did it all for one reason. For her.
You mean your wife, Desiree?
She hates criminals more than anything.
Come to think of it, she was once held hostage because of some robbers, wasn't she?
She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure.
So, that's why you became mask to mask?
You're a phantom thief, bud. You are not sneaky. You are the charisma caster of thieves. Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together. That's not true, right, Nick? You would know about that, broken bowls and stuff. Metaphorically?
You mean the urn?
No, I don't mean the urn. Oh my god. He's talking
You
about
know
his relationship.
You know Nick is just doing this shit on purpose.
Oh, I know, and Maya is just feeding into it.
She just falls for it every time.
She has now grabbed his lapels. Nick! Nick, you would know, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the only thing on my mind is a sacred urn right now.
Hey, that is a dirty lie. I saw something about, ow, there's a courtroom cat that just scratched my elbow. There is...
You better start... Let's just try and cheer him up.
No,
That's the main focus.
I saw something about Mr. Edgeworth in your
We're
briefcase.
going to cheer him up. Press the button, Maya.
Wah, 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 wah. You shouldn't say that when there's an actual button in this case. Baby, what do you want? Mama's going crazy because it smells like a skunk. It had a defense mechanism outside. Oh, also, yeah, laughs in kintsugi. No kidding. That's a beautiful art form, too. More on that later.
Right.
Really? Can we go back to the way things were? You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it.
I can? Yeah, the urn, like I've been saying. Still wish you would have checked with me first.
I will not give up. I will not give up. I will not give up.
Mr. Delight, even if a bowl is broken, there is always a way to put it back together.
Take that! The sacred urn. Dessie was the one who found this.
Desiree, your wife, she always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything.
Ah, there you are.
Miss Delight.
You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you?
Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you'd quit KB
I
Security.
think Chad's drunk again. We're just kidding. Ron, she love you, Ron. Ron, you're a good hoopin', Ron. Shut your fuck.
Called her out.
I did call her out. She said that to me for the first time yesterday, and I lost my shit. I'd never been told that before. I started dying. Oh, God.
I never imagined that you were really Master Mask either.
Mrs. Delight, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you?
Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away?
Fucking relationship goals, god damn it. Like, these two are perfect.
Girl, my bike's really fast. So fast there's no way he could ever get away. But didn't you say that you hated criminals?
She also said she didn't mind thieves, Nick.
Yeah, that's true.
She actually she actually said Master Mask wasn't a bad person.
Yeah, but I mean that did get kind of overshadowed over everything.
It did.
Hmm? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective.
Yeah, Desiree said the exact same thing before. Hi, Ian. You missed it. Godot actually said that he drinks. It was in this case. He said he drinks 17 cups of coffee per trial. You're making a comment about that last time. So he drinks 17 cups of coffee per trial.
Also, you need to take like 4 shots.
Not for my tongue, but for the fact that I fucked up.
She has no tea to burn her tongue on, so...
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have it. I haven't made it, because...
You have no tea currently.
Yes.
In the state of being drinkable.
Nope, just Coke Zero Starlight.
I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he even committed them, like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous.
Chivalrous?
I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement.
Dessie?
Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy. Yes? I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I can feel my face going red.
Oh my god, Nick, not again.
Pretty lady.
Nick. Is that Mr. Edgeworth's business card in your briefcase? Hang on a sec. Let me just see if I can...
Pretty lady.
Let's see
You
here.
don't know the combination to open it.
Too bad you left it open as we were leaving the courtroom, because I have my hand in it right now.
I closed it and locked it. What the hell?
Oh, that was me, sorry. Let's see. Aha! Miles Edgeworth. Okay, I can afford an international number.
Do not wake him up.
Mr. Nick! Mystic Maya! Congratulations!
Uh-oh. Nick, I think I'd be better off waking up Mr. Edgeworth.
Call him right now.
I
Dial quicker.
I can't move faster than Pearl.
Talk about bad timing. Quicker, Maya.
Mr. Nick, how could you, with another man's wife, in front of Mystic Maya? I'll never forgive you. Never, ever.
I love Pearl so fucking much.
Oh, just as the case came to a close, so did my consciousness.
Wow, Nick, she pulled a Francisca on you.
Ow.
Holy crap.
I still have second-degree burns.
Nick's just like on the floor. Maya's just kind of like crouched, like just like kind of doing like the Japanese squat, like looking at him like, man, she really fucked you up.
It's second-degree burns.
Yeah, well.
That seriously is like one of the most painful things I've ever experienced, besides breaking a bone.
Yeah, I know, it's awful. But Maya's like, yeah, well, that's what you get for being an obtuse jackass earlier.
He's not conscious for any of this, so... Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look.
Oh, I love this CG, it's so cute.
Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together and even better than before.
Oh, look at the cuties! The stolen turnabout, the end! When I get back from, achievement unlocked, the stolen turnabout. When I get back from vacation, Katie and I do, you'll get to see why Maya's in a, cute waitress outfit.
Yeah.
So, fun fact about Case 2 and how it fucks with me.
Really? Okay. Do I know this or no?
No.
Okay, let's go.
I always forget. I always get confused on what the actual third trial is, and I sometimes even forget it because I always mistake this as two separate trials or two separate cases.
Oh, so you think you go from proving that Ron is free of grand larceny, and then that case 3 is his mask-to-mask murder trial?
Yes, and I don't know why, because I know logically I know that's right, but whenever I think of it just like right off the top of my head, I'm like, oh yeah, case 3 is the murder trial for
Because I can tell you exactly why. Because even though one of your favorite side characters is in Recipe for Turnabout,
mm-hmm.
one of your least favorite side characters is also in Recipe for Turnabout.
Least favorite?
One that I'm voicing?
Is it the big bad?
No.
Oh, it's the
Yeah. See how much you've repressed it?
Yeah.
You don't even think about them until now. You fucking hate them. You hate them.
I do.
That's why I was like, I'll take it. I always forget about Recipe because I always forget about the central chunk of the final case happens inside the final case. I like Recipe.
I do too, but the thing is I just forget it.
You find it to be kind of a slog.
It can be sloggy, yeah. It doesn't mean I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any case in this game that's actually like a downer. Like that I'm just like, ugh. But like then again, Recipe and the stolen turnabout and Recipe for Turnabout are the only two that don't involve the overarching plot. There's 3 cases that are just all about this game, so and like wrapping up everything.
Recipe does introduce something that is important to the overarching plot.
Oh yeah, just like there was a shit ton of foreshadowing in this case that if you haven't played it before, you have no fucking idea it's been set up.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. That's one of the reasons why I love the Stolen Turnabout, because there's so much that's been set up.
But yes, so it always messes me up, and then I'm like, well, where does Recipe for Turnabout go? I know it's in the game, but are there 6 cases? That can't be right. It just freaking messes with me.
So, I would say, probably after Turnabout Samurai, just because Turnabout Samurai is fun. It's just a fun-ass case. I don't know why, I just always have a blast playing it. After Turnabout Samurai, and I'm not talking about, like, final cases. I'm leaving those out of it. Any ones with big bads. But I would probably say Stolen Turnabout is, like, my second favorite case in the original trilogy. Because it's just clever. It's so clever. And, like, not only in, like, the foreshadowing that it sets up for the overarching plot in terms of themes. Oh, my cat is coughing again, if that's what you... Are her coughs coming through?
A little bit.
Baby, it's okay. My cat has really bad allergies and asthma. She's okay, guys. She's just having a bad day. She's gotten her, both of her medications, so she's good. I'm looking at her right now, so. But not only that, but, like, the whole double jeopardy thing. I think it's fantastic that, like, you prove Ron of being innocent of mask to mask, and then Luke Atme is guilty of the murder that, you know, happens. And then you can't get Ron convicted because it's like, because of fucking double jeopardy. It's so good. Like, Ron was actually guilty, and in Nick thinking he fucked up, he actually saved Ron's life, which is just brilliant. Like, it's so good. That's just really, really clever. Like I was talking about earlier, whatever, like, they don't like to throw a lot of legal jargon around, because this is a very dark...
Ace Attorney Land.
Yeah, this is Ace Attorney Land, which is a very dark satire of a very fucked up law system that, as we have been told by chat, in Japan, defense attorneys were often seen as less honorable because they were willing to defend people that were potentially guilty of a crime, which was a fun fact I did not know until that day, so thank you, chat. But, oh.
I love it.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I love it.
Sorry, we just got sent a DM from Miri and Kazi. That's fucking amazing.
I want that Nick Zoom Zoom anyway.
Hello, baby. But so it's like, yeah, not only are we in Ace Attorney Land where, you know, like, you kind of have to throw your legal knowledge out the window and just for your suspension of disbelief, which I've made clear like 20 million times, but it's like when they do have legal jargon, they are very, very good about using it very properly. Because not only with Adrian was it, I plead the fifth, it was how badly the fifth could actually fuck her over, which is very clever, because usually when most people talk about pleading the fifth, they just have, like, either someone, you know, innocent use it correctly, or they have, you know, someone guilty use it to, you know, try to weasel out of it, and it's another way for someone to find their way around it, blah, 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 like, to prove they're the criminal, yada, yada. But, like, rarely have I ever actually seen how the fifth can work against somebody. And Ace Attorney pulls that off very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the problem with the Fifth Amendment is it's been integrated with our lexicon so much that people forget its actual meaning.
Yeah, they do. So, the localizers, or the localization team, I should say, did a great job on their legal research. Also, Kazi, you made that. Fucking bless you. That's fantastic. She made that, Katie.
Bless.
So yeah, I love that they were actually like, no, double jeopardy, because that like is it's weirdly just one of my favorite, like, legal things. I'm fascinated by double jeopardy. Like, and it's and how it like, its pros and its cons, because, you know, like I said, that's how OJ was able to write a book about how he committed murder. You can't fucking try him again for it.
Yep.
He got away with it. he was acquitted, and then he literally just wrote a book. Hey, here's how I killed this person. See, I thought it was that you couldn't be accused again for that specific crime. Like, he couldn't be tried for the urn theft.
He can't, but because they used all the cases prior to that to prove that he was mask to mask, and they proved that Atme was mask to mask, it would also prove that Atme was the one who committed all the previous crimes, so they can't catch him on that.
Yeah, so normally you would be right, Mary, actually. Normally you would be right. Yeah,
but because they integrated the previous crimes to prove that crime, it got him off on everything that happened previously. He cannot be tried for it.
Yep. No, so normally you would be right. Because, yeah, double jeopardy doesn't mean that just because you kill one person doesn't mean you can't be committed, or you can't be convicted if you kill another person, you know? So, it's just that the other cases were used as evidence in the case of the Sacred Urn. So, yeah, it became all-encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Luke Atme is one of the... I think he's actually the smartest, smartest. A minor villain in the series. Because he played literally everybody. He played the police, he played the judge, he played the prosecution, he played Nick.
Mm-hmm.
He played fucking everyone. Nobody caught on until it was almost too late. He actually nearly got away with it. He was very clever, and the first day in court went exactly as he wanted. So he was I think he is the smartest minor villain. And I think that the way he incorporates and someone who, as someone who isn't a lawyer, like Luke Atme is not a lawyer, he has enough knowledge about double jeopardy to use that to his advantage. That's really fucking smart. He might be a blowhard, but they did a really good job of making him smart where it actually counted. He's an attention-seeking bastard, but he is smart and he can actually back it up. Oh my god. That's so cute.
Oh, I know exactly what this is from. It's from the Neighbors AU.
Oh, really?
Yep, there's a whole AU of what if they lived next door to each other.
Of Prosecutor from 4 and the Delights living next to each other?
Yep.
That's adorable. And if it wasn't for the fact that I think he lives closer to Hollywood, I would totally be into it. Well, I mean, it's an AU, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Luke Atme super is, though. Matt on Guard could never. No, Matt on Guard could never. And On Guard did pull some tricky shit.
Yeah.
He really did pull some tricky shit, even though, I have it's a complicated relationship and y'all heard that. But, no, he definitely pulled the wool over most people's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
He just made the fatal mistake of crossing Shelley to kill her. Idiot. And now he's dead in prison. You can't tell me Matt on Guard doesn't get taken out like a bitch by Shelley in prison. You just can't. I'm like, oh, he dead.
Oh yeah, no, he was not safe, no matter what he did.
Yeah, it's like that Vine, Miss Keisha, Miss Keisha, Miss Keisha, Miss Keisha.
Oh my fucking gosh, she fucking dead.
Yeah, oh my fucking gosh, she fucking dead. That's like me, but it's Matt on Guard. It's Matt on Guard there instead. I mean, Manfred is canonically dead by game 2. He barely lasted. It's like a throwaway line, but he is canonically dead by game 2.
Yeah.
Which, good riddance.
So there's there's a couple of ways it could have happened. He could have gotten executed right away.
They probably would have wanted to pump him for everything he fucked up on, though, I think.
Yep.
So it's more likely that he either died
Hang on.
due to...
Hang on.
Okay.
Going into my other things.
You're chewing on things.
I'm sorry.
So I'm like, oh, is she done?
No. 2, he had an underlying health condition which killed him for, the year was out. Or 3, he got shanked.
I was about to say those 2 things.
Or my crack theory, which I personally love, is he took one look at the prison food and just refused to eat and starved to death.
Yeah, I was about to say he either had, it was either due to his age, he had health problems, like, he just literally could not survive in that kind of setting, or he got killed. Because someone that he convicted just straight up murdered him.
I mean, more than likely, it's probably the fact that he got his ass shanked.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in prison, they keep you alive to kill you. They give you the best health insurance they can, so they can kill you.
Unless you're in solitary. Unless you're in solitary.
Well, yes.
Then they
but
don't
in,
give
like,
a fuck
general
about you.
pop and shit.
Yeah, in general pop, yes, 100%.
And even on death row, they keep you alive just so they can kill you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and Montford would have been a wealth of information because he had 40 years of a win streak. They would want to know every fucking case that they needed to look over again. The police would want to know every single case. That's why I'm sure Damon Gant lives quite a while, because they want to make sure all of his cases are clear. So, I mean, like, it's just like, but like, Matt on Guard, he wasn't in the police force.
Nope.
He wasn't a prosecutor. He's not part of the legal world in any way. He's an actor. And he crossed an assassin. Fucking idiot.
So yeah, Shelley would have gotten to him before anything.
Oh my god. Shelley got to him in like 2 weeks. Are you kidding me? And then he fucked off because he said things were getting too hot. So he killed Matt and then bounced.
Yeah.
It was good to see Adrian though, because it seems like she actually got help. Like,
yes.
Like they did state in Farewell My Turnabout that like she got like mandatory therapy, but like this seems like therapy that she actually sought out on her own. Like she wanted to get better.
She continued it.
It seemed like she had stopped in Farewell My Turnabout because her obsession was taking her over.
Yeah.
And it had been for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think she actually went and like actively sought help, and she was making really healthy strides. So very happy for Adrian. Oh, and we get one more cameo. I was like, do we have other cameos in the other cases? And I'm like, oh my god, yes, of course we do, idiot. I forgot. But yeah, I really love the Stolen Turnabout. I love Ron. I know you said, Katie, because you've listened to Press Buttons and Talk.
Yes.
ProZD and Mankey weren't big fans of Ron.
No, not at all.
They don't really like Ron because he doesn't really he's just kind of there. Right?
He's just kind of there, and they just see him as just underwhelming.
I mean, that's fine, but it's like you said, the point that's like his entire point.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you don't notice him. That's the entire point. You don't actually think he's mask to mask. You believe Desiree. This is not to dunk on Mankey or ProZD, by the way. They're wonderful people. I just think it's interesting that I just like to hear other people's takes on the cases themselves and what they think about this person as a defendant, as a victim, blah blah. So yeah, like Kane Bullard is like the most underwhelming victim we ever have. We know like nothing about him.
Yeah.
It's just like CEO dead. Blackmailer. Like every other villain kind of had like a backstory to them. More underwhelming than Dead Man. That's true, there is a guy named Dead Man.
I freaking love that, though. I love that there is a person literally named Dead Man.
Yeah, because they spell it Deidmann. Yeah, so they spell it like Germanic. That's incredible.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's Germanic, it would be pronounced Deidman.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, yes, I would say because he is more underwhelming than Deidman, because he was really only there to be a victim for the events that happened to be a catalyst. Like he was, wow, I just like stroked out. He
Take a shot.
Shut up. We're not reading lines anymore. It's fine. He was really only there to be a catalyst for the events surrounding his death, and that's fine. I mean, you could argue that about Kane Bullard, but they actually did try. They were like, what's the motive? That's not really in discussion with Daedmon.
The I is what's pronounced, but yes.
Oh, well, Dead Man. There we go. Jesus Christ.
Just go back to pronouncing it that way.
Yes, with Dead Man. I'm
throwing shit, don't mind me.
You are throwing shit, and then you get sassy with me when I throw shit at you. Sassy pants.
I accidentally just bumped it and everything fell.
What?
I bumped my bottle and it just caused some stuff to fall.
I thought you meant you were throwing shit at me, like metaphorically.
No, like literal.
Oh, I thought you were just like, yeah, I'm throwing shit at you. That's what I was like, yeah, and then you get mad when I throw shit at you, you sassy pants. She doesn't actually get mad. It's fine. We just like to bicker. But yes, on the topic of streams and recipe for turnabout, like redirecting, you will notice a lag in a lag. You will a lag in uploads. And you will notice that I'm going to set my Twitter vacation. Oh, my Twitter. Fuck. My I was looking at my Twitter window. Shut up. My Twitch window, or my Twitch schedule to vacation, starting tomorrow. Because Katie and I are going on vacation. I mentioned this in the beginning of the previous episode, aka at the beginning of the stream. We aren't leaving until like Friday, and we do have internet up there, but it can't even fucking use Netflix. Like, when I say middle of nowhere, I mean I have no goddamn cell service. Like, and internet there is like satellite internet, like the really crappy satellite internet where you have to wait 10 minutes for an image to load. So, it's not possible to stream, like, it's not possible to use streaming services up there like Netflix or Amazon Prime or Disney Plus or anything like that, let alone stream a video game. Also, the place we're going has crazy-ass acoustics. Like, no matter what room either one of us would be in, you would be able to hear the other person. We have, like, that place has crazy-ass acoustics. Spoiler, it's my cabin, but my cabin is in the middle of goddamn nowhere, and it has crazy acoustics. So. You say acoustics, and I immediately want to sing. We've talked about this already, but it would have been so easy for them to make Dessie a complete bitch. But she wholly loves her boy, and her boy wholly loves her. Oh my god. Ron and Desiree have such a beautiful relationship. Like, I wasn't kidding when I said relationship goals. Like, find someone who really adores you for who you are, no matter what you do. and who just kind of wants to devote themselves to you. Like, not like they don't do it in an unhealthy way either. Like, well, it was unhealthy in the way that, you know, Ron was, you know, fucking becoming a thief. But like Desiree was like, "Oh, you should have talked to me about this. We could have figured something out." You know, she's not like, "You should have talked to me about this. I can't believe you would do this." Blah blah blah, you know. She didn't get like mad at him or anything, and
I mean, and honestly, she had every right to get mad at him.
oh, she absolutely did. He kept a secret from her forever. But she was like, "No, I love him. I love you." I love the whole bit that where she's like, my motorcycle's really fast, so there's no way he'd be able to get away from me.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cute. And it's like, yes, it's like they love each other despite their flaws. Ron loves her despite the fact that, like, she just spends money like it's fucking water.
Yeah, that she's a shopaholic.
Yeah, that she is a literal shopaholic, and she has a motorcycle that is probably more expensive than their apartment lease for a year. You know, and they live in LA, so that's fucking expensive. You know, and Desiree loves him despite the fact that he you know, he stole company assets and sold them. That's illegal as shit. If anything, he could be tried for that, and everyone's kind of forgotten about it. Actually, if anything, Ron could be tried for that. Because that wasn't under Mask to Mask.
Oh, yeah.
What he did was completely illegal. But I think, well, KB Security would have to
Levy charges, yeah. And they didn't, yeah, and he didn't want to. Bullard did not want to.
Yeah, because it would have caused a scandal.
Yep.
And
he just wanted him gone.
Yeah, so actually, no, Ron can't be tried for that now because Bullard can't levy charges against him because he's fucking dead.
Yep.
So yeah, no, Ron's fine. So, and it's like Ron knows now that it's like he doesn't need to resort to these kind of tactics to help Dessie. Anyway, I wish the best for the Delights. I really do. They're a very wholesome couple, and like in the most like fucked up, like dysfunctional way. In the only way that Ace Attorney can present, you know, a healthy, wholesome relationship. Pretty much. I'm trying to think if there's like another canonical relationship like theirs. They do need babies. Because God knows there's a lot going on in their bedroom. That's all I'm gonna say. They do need babies. There's a lot happening in their bedroom. Like, holy shit.
The only other relationship I can think of that's like dysfunctional but also wholesome we don't see yet, and it's more familial.
Yeah, I'm just talking about romantic.
Yeah.
I think they're the only romantic relationship that's wholesome.
Yeah, that we get information on, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, that's canonical and we get information on.
Yeah.
Yes, we need baby Damasks, though. I agree with that statement very much, Kazi. I love Ron and his Princess Leia cinnamon bun hair. Again, if it wasn't for Will, Ron would probably be my favorite defendant, too.
But Will's so wholesome.
Oh my god, I love Will Powers so goddamn much. He's the most wholesome boy. And I'm so happy Ace Attorney made him. But we won't be seeing him in any main entry anytime ever again.
Yeah.
Unless... Ow, cat! Unless he comes back in, like, a future entry. She reached up to paw at me and she had a claw extended. Baby, that hurt.
I think this is the cue to end the stream because your cat wants your attention.
Yeah, very painfully so. Jeez, Lucky cat, the heart. My goodness. Oh man. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm so sorry about all the weird scheduling stuff. Like I said, prep work for going to my cabin is quite a bit of work actually.
Yeah.
So, oh, I know that picture. I have that saved to my computer actually. Mary. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, actually prepping to go up to my cabin is quite a bit of work. So, and we're gonna be doing a lot of that this week. So, we didn't want to stress ourselves out with being like, oh no, then we've got to stream and we're so exhausted and blah blah blah. So, but we will be back afterwards. I'm planning on, let's see if that's good for you, Katie. The 23rd. So
Yeah, that'll be good.
yeah, you at least get a day to recover.
Yeah.
You and I both. So we'll be back, and we'll be back just on a. I have that one too. Trust me, that one breaks my heart. I want to die inside. It's so cute. I'm being DM'd adorable pictures. But yeah, so we'll be back on the 23rd for Recipe for Turnabout. And after that, we're in the home fucking stretch. That doesn't mean shit though, because Case 5 is a fucking doozy.
Oh boy.
Case 5 is the dooziest of the dooziest. We will need to find points to stop and save because we will not hit checkpoints.
No, we won't. No, we will not.
There is no way. Not even in the many checkpoints they give you. There is no
Even
way.
in the next case, we might have to figure out some checkpoints.
Yeah, it does have long stretches of time where you're
Yeah.
like either investigating or blah and blah and blah. Yep. Yep.
But yes.
Oh, my frame rate's dropping too, so that's another indication.
Yeah, you're starting to sound a little bit robotic.
You dead, says Mary. I think the stream died.
Okay. Yeah, the stream died. Oh yes.
So for any, but the recording's still going. So, for those of you on YouTube, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. So does Katie, of course. And yeah, so there's going to be a weird lag in upload. Sorry about that. And then we'll be back to our regular schedule. After we've had just some time to recuperate, because life's a hell of a thing.
Oh yeah, I didn't sign up for this shit.
Yes, same. And that's all we're going to say about that. So, thank you guys very much. We appreciate you guys. And we will see you later. Have a good one, and take it easy.